Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Almost Martha. And today I am going to be making a shepherd's pie. I haven't made one in ages and ages, and winter's still hanging on. It seems like a nice, hearty meal for tonight, and one that we can also have tomorrow night because it'll make good leftovers. So, sounds good to me. So hang on and let's do it together. Let's make a little bit of a lighter style shepherd's pie. To begin, we're going to make a quick mirepoix. If you don't know what a mirepoix is, it could sound intimidating. I asked a friend of mine one day I was cooking with, I'm like, just make a quick mirepoix. And she was like, what are you talking about? And it's something you do all the time because it's really just chopped vegetables, and these vegetables are going to season what we're going to eat. They're going to season a piece of meat, they're going to season a stew, they're going to season a soup. So chopped vegetables. The most common mirepoix is made from onions, celery, and carrots, which is what we have here. So I diced one medium onion. I have about 1 cup of onion. I have 2 ribs of celery that I have diced, and I have 2 medium carrots that I've also diced. So this is what is going to give us a lot of flavor in our shepherd's pie. So to the stove, where we will begin just to cook this down, maybe for about 10 minutes to get everything nice and translucent and soft. All right, to my lovely pan, I've added 2 tablespoons of butter, which I'm melting. And to the butter, I'm going to add my carrots, my celery, and my onions. So this will cook down a little bit. We want everything to get nice and translucent. So this will take probably about 10 minutes. To this, I'm going to add some garlic. Now you can add fresh garlic. I'd add, a clove or 2 of fresh garlic. I'm using some roasted garlic, so I'll add just a tad more. And just a little tad of that lovely roasting oil. I have some fresh rosemary, so I'm just going to throw it in, and we're going to pick the stems out later. If I had fresh thyme, I would use it. I do not, because it's really not thyme yet. So about half a teaspoon of thyme, dried thyme, should do the trick. We're going to add a little bit of pepper. And then we're going to let this begin to soften. So let that butter get going. So I have it on, I just brought it up to 6, which is just a tad above a medium heat. But this will start going here in a minute. We'll just let this look at your onions. Once those onions become nice and translucent, you know you're good. All right, I think we have reached what we were looking for, our nice translucency there. And now we're just going to add our meat right into this mixture. So I have here a blend. I have a little over a half pound of really good ground beef. And I also have 1 pound of ground turkey. So I'm hoping that the beef is going to really help flavor that turkey, and it's going to taste more beef-like than turkey. That's the hope anyway. I mean, not sure the turkey would be fine, but I think with this beef flavor, it will really, really add to it and be more of what you think of when you think of a shepherd's pie. You know, we're doing what we can to lighten things up here and there, and a lot of times you can swap out ground turkey for ground beef without any thought whatsoever. But in this one, I thought a little bit of beef might be helpful. All right, I'm going to turn my heat down just a tad while I put this meat in here. And we're going to add some salt and pepper. And we want this meat to cook, get just a little bit brown, but not too brown. So that's our goal. Okay, we let this cook and just stay on top of it because you really kind of have to keep. We don't want the meat to stay in big hunks. We want them to break up. So let's do that. And now you can see we're mixing in the mirepoix with the meat. So that's going to give it a really, really good flavor, nice depth of flavor. Okay. So we'll just let this cook for a little while and then we'll keep going. Well, it's just bubbling away here and we are very close. And it looks like we're going to have to drain this a little bit. Sometimes if you buy really lean beef, there's a lot of water that comes out and that gets evaporated. We'll see if this evaporates mostly or if this is going to, I think there's some grease in here that we're going to want to drain off. So just one more step. But we don't want all this grease to be in our dish. So that's the next step. But a lot has evaporated, so there was a lot of water, within the turkey itself. So I think just a few more minutes and we'll be ready. We'll see where we are with the grease level. I think our mixture looks done. You don't want it to start sticking and getting too brown. But there is more grease in here than I want in the final product. So I've just lined my colander with some paper towels. I'm going to put it in the sink and then I'm just going to put this in there and let it drain just for a few minutes to get a lot of that oil out. There's not a tremendous amount, but there's enough that I don't want it in the final dish. So I'm going to drain the meat and then we'll be right back. All right, so it has drained and there was more oil in there, more grease in there than I thought. So I'm really glad that we took that step. And now we're going to add some tomato paste. Turn my heat back on. It's on like a medium heat. We're going to mix this tomato paste all in. So it's about 1/3 of a cup of tomato paste. All right. Now I'm going to add, 1, 2, 3, 4 dashes of Worcestershire sauce. Which just really kind of helps give it a depth of flavor. And I'm going to take 1 tablespoon of flour and I'm going to sprinkle it over the beef. And we're just going to brown this just a little bit. Wow, it's smelling really good, I have to say. Really good. It's been a long time since I've had this. But I don't think my mom ever made it. So it was not something that I had growing up. Hi, Mom. Okay. Now I have 3/4 cup of beef stock, which I'm gonna add. So with the flour and the beef stock, we're gonna create just a little bit of an easy roux. So it's just gonna thicken up a little bit, which is what we're looking for. So this is where we have to taste it because we want to see if we need to add more salt or how much salt, just to kind of, see where we are. It's good. Could use some salt though. And I think I could use just a tad more of this. With some pepper. Touch more salt. When you add your salt, add it in small additions because it's incredibly difficult to get salt out of a dish. You can always add more, but man, it's really hard to get it out. There are tricks, but I don't think those tricks would work on a dish like this. So be very careful with your salt. Small additions, small additions. Okay. All right. That's really good. So now we'll get ready to move to part 2. All right, so now we're gonna build our shepherd's pie. And I have a smaller dish, but I think it's gonna take just a slightly bigger one. But this is a really beautiful dish, and it just reminded me, this was a wedding present from my friend Bill Bowers, the world famous mime, Bill Bowers. And I have used these for 19 plus years. It will be 20 years next year. So how great is that? Okay, so now I'm just gonna start spooning this mixture in the bottom. I would love to just pick it up and dump it in, but no, I don't think that's a good thing. I love Le Creuset, but Le Creuset is very heavy. It's very heavy, very, very heavy. Okay, here we go. And I gave Mom a gigantic red Le Creuset pot one year, and about 5 years later, she gave it back to me because she couldn't lift it anymore. They are a little heavy. They are a little heavy, but they are fantastic workhorses. Mark told me a story of when he moved into his first apartment. He was working and trying to set up his little apartment, and he went to Macy's. He went to the cellar in Macy's at Herald Square, and they sold that boy almost an entire set of Le Creuset, and he walked home with it. Can you imagine? I don't think you'd be doing that now, but that was a nifty salesperson. Yeah, no need to touch it before you buy it. No need to lift it. Yeah, you need these 5 pots. And actually, this is one of the pots so this pot is like, I don't know, 40 years old, something like that. So they last. All right. Now I have some frozen vegetables. Frozen vegetables have really come a long way. They now say that in many cases, the frozen vegetables are actually healthier for you than vegetables that you go buy in the vegetable counter because they're fresher. Think about that. So I have this lovely bag of peas, and they stay up. You can just sprinkle them right on top. It's 1 cup of green peas, frozen green peas. And now I'm also going to add just a little bit of corn. This is debatable for shepherd's pie. Even the peas, I think, are debatable for some people. But I think it's fine to load it up with vegetables. So now we're just going to sprinkle the corn on top. Okay. Now we're going to go to our topping. I love potatoes. I love potatoes in every form. I love mashed potatoes, fried potatoes. I love baked potatoes. I love stewed potatoes. There's so many, I love them. I love them. What I don't love is making mashed potatoes. I do not love making mashed potatoes. I will, but when I don't have to, I don't. So I bought some mashed potatoes to go on top of our shepherd's pie because why not? We're going to get baked on top and we're going to top them with cheese. So there's absolutely no reason, in my opinion, that I need to make mashed potatoes. Now, you can dress them up and you can make them far better than they are as they come here. And I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to stir these up and I'm going to add, about a tablespoon of melted butter to them because they're never as generous with their butter as we are. And then I'm going to put them on top of my shepherd's pie. So I have no problem. Doing that whatsoever. When we have, big gatherings and stuff here, sometimes the easiest potato dish is to just take these potatoes that you buy in the store, add butter, add sour cream, top it with cheese and breadcrumbs, and voila, you have a fabulous potato casserole that everyone is going to think you made yourself, and it's going to taste delicious. Trust me. So I'm just going to add a little butter here, and then we will put these right on top. All right, I'm just going to add a little bit of butter. I'll stir that in. And these should be good. These are, I really haven't tried these before, but they're made from Yukon Golds, which I love Yukon Golds. Okay. Now we're just gonna spoon potatoes over the top. Number 2. It's possible one, like family style size would have done it. Okay. Perfect. Think of the time you've saved. Think of the time you've saved. Really, I can't tell you how many times I've made that potato casserole, and people are like, "Oh, this is so good." I'm like, "Yep, it sure is." It sure is, and it saved me a lot of time. All right. So now I'm going to go and I'm going to grab some grated cheddar cheese. I have some really good Cabot cheddar, and that's what I'll use to put on top. All right, so I'm going to take a fork and I'm going to just sort of swirl this. And first of all, I am going to do one thing. So if you see here, I've got like some little marks on here, and that's just gonna bake in. Plus, it's not pretty. You ever watched a restaurant kitchen? They're constantly wiping plates and getting little, things off so everything's beautiful. Well, you can do the same. You can do the same. Okay. So we don't want to leave this flat because we want it to sort of have some crispy peaks, right? So we're going to take the tines of our fork and we're just going to grate it over the top. So we'll create some ridges that can be nice and crispy. Okay. And now I'm not going to measure this. This is up to you. Some people like a ton of cheese. Some people like a little bit of cheese. You could put cheese in the potatoes if you want. That just seems overly cheesy to me. So now I'm just going to sprinkle the top. I grated this cheese. I rarely buy cheese that's already grated. If you look at the packet ingredients, sometimes you'll see something called cellulose, and that is to keep the individual pieces of cheese from sticking together. I know they do it in Parmesan, and I swear the other packaged cheeses they just don't taste right to me. They just taste different. So grate your cheese. That's all I'm saying. Okay, and now I've got a little bit of that butter left. I'm just going to dollop the top. I've set my oven to 375 degrees, and we want to bake this until it's really nice and hot and bubbly, probably like 30 to 40 minutes depending on your oven. But I think this is going to be terrific. Terrific. Look at that. Great, great. All right. Into the oven. I just took it out of the oven. Oh, and it looks really, really good, doesn't it? Now we have to wait about 15 minutes. We have to let everything set. Right now it's too hot to eat anyway. It's like a little lava. So we're going to wait. We're going to let it chill a little bit. I'm going to get the rest of our dinner together, but yeah, okay. 15 minutes. Be right back. All right, here we are. It's the moment of truth. It's the moment of truth. I'm going to just get a little taste. Oh, yeah. Oh, you guys, this house smells so good right now. It smells so good. Mark just came in. He goes, this is one of those meals you can really dig into. I'm like, totally. Totally. Okay. It's still kind of hot. It's still pretty hot, but okay, we got our peas, a little bit of corn, those lovely mashed potatoes we worked so hard on. All right, here we go. That is so good. That is so good. I'm gonna have another bite. That's so good. Oh. That is so good. Delicious. I'm gonna be well, we're gonna have a lot left over, but we have leftovers tomorrow night. Or maybe I'll freeze some for another meal in the future. That is really delicious. And it was really easy to put together, easy to do on the stove. So, if you want this recipe, you know what to do. You just go to almost-martha.com where you'll find this along with all the other recipes that I've done. I think you should try it. The turkey works great. It is a little more beefy, just a little bit of beef in there. So that worked out really, really well. Very, very tasty. I think your family will love it. So shepherd's pie. Thank you so much for stopping by. And I hope you'll come back next week right here at Almost Martha. Thanks so much. Bye.